Hello everybody, it's Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming. I know it's been a minute since I've had an actual video, but I got some other things that I'm working on, got work, things like that. But I would like to announce to everybody that after the inconsistent harassments and smear campaign through comments and the constant shit talking done from a certain individual's Discord, which he has to keep private just so, he can save face, the Rogue Inquisitor is finally defeated, and he's finally surrendered. Not willingly, but he had to begrudgingly do his surrender through coded language by saying that, oh, I'm just going to mute, when he should have just walked away a long time ago. So, yeah, nobody's on his side anymore. He really has nobody that supports his case against me, except obviously the biased cocksuckers that used to hate me, so they just basically follow all of his whim and word. You know, getting Libra October, who I have finally given a pass to, because he used to just throw Libra's name into things to make it seem like Libra was also part of the drama, and then thanks to Libra exposing that he wasn't part of the drama and he actively didn't want to be, so Inquisitor was caught being a liar again on Twitter, and going out of his way to just make a separate Twitter thread wall dedicated to me, Kyo, and I guess a couple of others, always screenshotting what I say, basically always staying on top of me like he's an obsessed ex-girlfriend or something. But that's neither here nor there. He's finally kept his mouth shut. He's finally decided to lay down his arms, because there's nothing he can really do. He constantly blew smoke up everybody's asses, saying that he would have exposed me, but he never did. One time he kept promoting for an entire week to 2 weeks that I'm gonna make the biggest exposed video on John. He never fucking did it. All it was a 30-second Rainbow Six Siege clip, which was beyond disappointing because I expected his video to also be, pretty shitty to begin with, because none of his information is ever accurate. All he really will do from going forward, or even then, he's not really a threat to begin with anymore. He's just done. Inquisitor's done. He's probably just going to go back to focusing on what he does and making poor attempts to try to get my attention. The only times he's ever got my attention is what he doesn't understand is when people lie about you, you'll defend yourself. And he thinks defending yourself is guilt, which it's not. So whoever taught him that clearly didn't raise him right and failed him growing up. And I mean, by what he claims that he has a military father, I highly doubt that, or if that, at best, his father was most likely a failure, like him, because he's the size of a fucking house, and a house that's falling apart. No military father would allow their child to look like frickin' Smokey the Bear, but a hairless Smokey the Bear with one beard. And getting his own sister to DM me or to respond to me, and she deleted her comments, by the way. I had to basically tell her to check her brother before coming to check someone else, because people just don't act the way they do or respond the way they do. So I'm just going to use the thumbnail saying that this was History Lesson Part 2, but this was more supposed to be the concluding part to that. So I can just say that anything going forward, I'm just going to let him scream into the void, because he blocked me during the summer when he had any point to just leave it like that. He should have stayed, blocked me. Always has to insert himself into drama, always has to create drama just so he can have a reason to say something. And that is just his calling cards through and through. He has projected so many of his insecurities and so many of his issues onto me that it has gotten to a disturbing level, and I myself has just decided to, you know what, he's not worth it anymore, because if you really want to know a lot of things, and there's proof, and people have seen it, Kyo has seen it, Kage's seen it, 2Black has seen it, plenty of people like G-Bane have seen it, that Rogue Inquisitor starts the drama first. As of recently, there was a recent drama with somebody called Dark Wolfie. I don't know Wolfie that well, so I don't know what that issue was. Inquisitor has no history of knowing anything about Wolfie, no history of Retro Gaming Star. But what did he do? Made videos about them, inserted himself into something that had nothing to do with him. You know, if he really was a grown man like he claims to be, which is sad that someone like Retro, who has Down syndrome to a point, is more of a man than the Rogue Inquisitor, that tells you something. That really does tell you something. Hell, I give it this. Libra can be lazy at times with how he handled content creation on his older channels, but at least he does something. You know, he's not Inquisitor that only gives you the bare minimum with what he talks about, what he decides to do. You know, everything Inquisitor has done has just been the most predictable acts of somebody who is envious. Somebody who knows that, damn, I don't have friends like that. I don't have anybody that really supports me, you know, outside of my bubble. Because the only people that support him are creeps and synsopins, or whatever the hell that Twitter thread wall that he created, which just shows you, did I have to create something like that? No. Did I have to make up words or use phrases? No. Do I have to constantly quote things to feel good about myself? No. You know, for somebody like him who's a Warhammer fan, he's a bad example of a Warhammer fan. And I would know. I have seen people that poorly represent their fan bases. You know, the recent drama that I had with him, for example, is correcting the idiot, that Star Wars girl, you know, because she's retarded and doesn't know her hip from her ass because it's made of plastic. And she was a chick that basically profited off the loss of a loved one, which is disgusting. But for the most part, what would any normal person would do? You know, if I corrected Anna, rightfully so, any grown man who isn't a simp would have been like, you know what? Either A, what am I going to do? Reply to this knowing the shitstorm it can cause and I have no right to do so, or just move on with my day. And if you guessed B, you guessed correct. But no, he couldn't do that. He can't help himself. He looks for a reason to insert himself into drama and to self-project his problems onto other people, especially onto me. And he's been like that for a very long time, people. So I'm going to give you guys, before I continue and finish this out, I'm going to give you a prediction, okay? And whether he says this is not a prediction or not, he still will do these actions. Maybe not in this order, but it will be these actions. He's going to see the video. He won't comment on it, or he will. The comment will be something either unrelated or a projection, feel-good comment for himself. He's going to screenshot the video or screenshot anything said about him. He's going to post it to his private Discord, which was funny how I jumped in and out just to see his reaction, and I baited him beautifully. So that's another good thing that's actually hilarious. He has all his servers locked, which is funny. When you go to my server, I don't have nothing locked and no shit talking of people, but if you have to hide your servers or keep it locked, pretty sure you got some dirt that you don't want nobody to see and some things that you don't want to be held accountable for the amount of slander and smearing that you do behind the scenes. But when people actively fight back, you don't like it, you know, because clearly he was the kind of guy that was the bully growing up. He was probably bullied by his dad. If his dad is military, he probably was bullied by his dad, and he tries to bully other people. And when people fight back, he doesn't know how to handle it, and he just tries to imitate your actions as a feel-good. I can understand that he's a feel-good kind of guy. He tries to feel good about what he's doing and feel justified, and just needs any reason to do so. So I can't predict what he'll say on Discord because, again, since he keeps certain things locked, which means he shit talks behind the scenes, and he'll probably shit talk to other people, trying to get a little coalition together and basically go nowhere with it, because anybody that supports him is just a coward at the end of the day. If you support him, you support people attacking other people, you support people lying on other people's names, and you support SISCON to a point. That's all I gotta say for that section. But I can see that since he has me muted on Twitter or X, whatever, I'm calling it fucking Twitter, I don't care. Since he has me muted on there, it's actively a way for me to not really see. He doesn't have the balls to ever tag me in what he says, but at least when I say something about him, I make it clear and open for him to see it, and I actually tag him in it. Me, he doesn't have the balls to do it, never will he do so. I always have to be told, or somebody has to show me, which is a good thing. You know why? Because if you so-called have people that back you up, they must be doing a poor job, because you still have to do 90% of the work to figure out things or see things, just to use as perfect excuses. And he has mistaken me for reporting things falsely. No, he has reported my tweets before falsely for exposing any actions he has done. So when I report the stuff he says, which is more smearful and more misinformation, he acts like he can do that, but no one else can. He is the epitome of the Dunning-Kruger effect, and rules for thee, but not for me. So, from this day forward, anything he says would be completely irrelevant, and any comeback he tries to do against me will just fall flat. He lost. His surrender was complete by muting me, which, if he would have blocked me, he didn't want his ego to be damaged by blocking me. That's what it was. He just always wanted to keep the door open so he can attempt to justify any future attacks and actions against me. But the one thing I do that no one else does is I never stand down and I never surrender. So I've been like that since day one, and I will continue to be that way. He doesn't like it, too bad. Not everybody has to agree with him, and not everybody has to like him, which is what he wants. And projecting his problems under other people is the sad fact. I mean, I've never seen someone project this many issues that actually makes Retro Gaming Star look more of a man than the Rogue Inquisitor. So, there's not really much else I can say. I can just expect the shit talking behind the scenes that he could do, but he doesn't have the balls to do it publicly. And whoever he has do it for him is just as much as a coward and fearful as he will ever be. So, that's all I gotta say, everybody. This is Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, and thank you for being here for my victory.